The apotheosis is upon us. How's it going, everyone? This is a new territory for my channel, rankin' videos. And sure, they're not the most original, but the format's easy and simple to digest. There's a reason everyone does them, whether it be tier lists or countdowns or some third thing, so I'm gonna be throwing my hat in that ring. Also new to this channel is me talking about some of my favorite non-gaming media. My bio says that I'm a theater kid, as of this video, might change in the future, and with Wiggly as my witness, I'm gonna act like one. And I figured now was as good of a time as any to cover this musical in particular, since they're soon reprising it with a Kickstarter that ends... Well, it ended like a week ago, but it got a huge backing. Deservedly so, because the guy who didn't like musicals is phenomenal. For those of you who don't know, the guy who didn't like musicals is StarKid's first musical set in Hatchetfield, a town in Michigan that really suffers from general tomfoolery that, as far as I know, always leads to the end of the world. Well, maybe not always, just most of the time. Here's where I'm gonna give that obligatory spoiler warning for anyone who hasn't watched the musical for yourself. If you haven't yet seen it, go watch it before watching this, cause it'll definitely help with the context. It's free on YouTube, published by Team StarKid themselves, so really, unless you don't have the free time, you don't have an excuse to not watch it. So do it. I'm watching you. Watching it. Yeah. I love this musical. Maybe a bit too much. I've been wanting to express my love for it for a while, but basically everyone I know either has no interest in it or does not like it nearly as much as I do. So, here I am, screaming into the void. Maybe some of you will watch and like it, maybe some of you will hate it and try to wash out the yapping with a nice silent movie after this, and that's fair. This is the first time I'm really scripting one of these videos, so this might be a train wreck. But who cares? Let's just get to it already. Did you hear the word? There's not much to say on this one. Let Him Come is a reiteration of that one part in the opener, and it honestly just feels like they needed to fill some time to set up the meteor for the next song. It's an extra 30 seconds for them to set up between Paul leaving Emma on the beach and Paul entering the Starlight Theater. I suppose it helps convey some time passing between these two events, but still don't like it too much. Is it catchy? Hell yeah, of course it is, but it adds the least to the actual story of the musical, rightfully putting it as last place. Who the hell is Jack? This musical has quite a lot of reprises for their previous songs. Cup of Poisoned Coffee is no exception, being a follow-up to Cup of Roasted Coffee, while also being a lot less subtle with its sinister nature. Overall, that makes it less interesting, but it's still a fun time. With only two voices, the harmony doesn't quite tickle my brain the same way as Cup of Roasted Coffee does, but it wins me over again with just how snazzy this song still sounds in the 30 seconds it has. I don't know what genre you'd classify this number as, but man, it really works for me. Don't you trust me? I hate putting this here, but it's just the least important of the remaining songs. You Tied Up My Heart, while being a fun ballad and showing more shades of Charlotte and Sam's relationship, could realistically be cut from the show more than just about any other song remaining. Heck, I'd even say Cup of Poisoned Coffee is more crucial, considering it's used to indicate that shit has really hit the fan in Hatchetfield. Jeff Blim's falsetto here can get a little bit grating instead of the fun it brings in What Do You Want, Paul, or Show Me Your Hands. By the third Blim-focused song, basically in a row, it gets to be a bit much, especially since it's so frequent in this song. I will say that this show is much older than some of the other Star Kid musicals, where his voice is naturally more trained for those high notes. For instance, he sounds great in Cinderella's Castle, Star Kid's latest work as of this video. I know the guy can hit those high notes well, I just don't think he really stuck the landing here. Maybe this song will leave a better taste in my mouth with the upcoming reprised version of The Guy Who Didn't Like Musicals, since Blim's voice will be better overall, but for now this song is just solid. Nothing amazing, but not bad. I like the lyrics, how it feels so fake to lure Charlotte in, and the choreography is perfectly stupid, I mean Star Kid. You Tied Up My Heart's ultimately just not as appealing to me as others, giving it this low placement. Hello? Hello? Please, God, I just want a black coffee!
Black coffee, I'm your coffee guy.
No! Nothing like a good old cup of joe to wash down your nasty blue shit, right? Cup of Roasted Coffee itself is just kind of a catchy little number to distract Emma from Paul's paranoia for a moment, but damn, is it really catchy. This barista triplet, despite only running for 1 minute and 39 seconds, instantly sticks in your brain. This beats out You Tied Up My Heart for a few reasons. Firstly, I think it's just a lot more of a bop than the ballad. Secondly, I love the contrast between infected Zoe and Nora's performance-ready looks and Emma's complete and utter "I'm done with this shit" expression. It's one of my favorite parts of the whole show. Thirdly, the scene leading into it is one of the funniest in the show, with multiple incredibly quotable performances by John Madison and Lauren Lopez in particular.
Emma, I think there's something terribly wrong with the world today.
Yeah, fucking tell me about it.
Promise me you'll think about the implications.
Okay, I promise.
Okay. Are you frightened?
Yeah, I think I am starting to get a little
You
frightened.
should be.
Cup of Roasted Coffee also gets bonus points for being the final song in the show before things really go to hell with Cup of Poison Coffee. All around, this song's just a necessary but fun piece to segue into the next story beats, and I appreciate it for that. What the hell am I doing with my life? Starting out the top 10 is the anti-cop bop, Show Me Your Hands. While it's another song helmed by Jeff Blim in the vocal department, this definitely beats out You Tied Up My Heart for keeping his range just a little lower. The way this song shows all of the incompetencies of law enforcement, along with playing with the idea of authorities being fucking useless in horror media, makes it a very comedic piece. This song definitely focuses on comedy, from the dark humor of Kathy's cat dying to whatever Robert Mannion's doing here.
Slowly get out of the vehicle. Slowly get out of the vehicle. Do the things I say. I'm a cop.
He sure is doing that. But hey, to be fair, it gets a laugh from me every single time. This one might not have a ton of really important overarching symbolism, but it's still just a fun time. Honestly, this is one of the least terrifying songs in the show, because it's mostly just hilarious, but I love it for that. Now hold on, I'm gonna let you finish, but first check out this amazing opening!
Oh my god. Charlotte? It is time to die!
Man, I love that intro. Jamie Lynn Beatty's the GOAT for holding that note for so long, especially on stage. And then to go right into one of the fastest songs with so little time to breathe, she's an absolute beast. This has to be one of the hardest songs to perform just for that alone, and I'm so impressed by how well she pulled it off. Other than that, this song isn't insanely significant, but it does give some interesting insight into the process of being infected, and it's a great tonal shift from the very conversation-heavy scene that this song interrupts. It also being interrupted before it can continue is an extra added bonus, which is really funny. It's mostly just lesser than the songs above it, leaving it here. Wait, what are we saying? We all need to say the same thing. You guys are embarrassing me.
I'm not your girl anymore. I'm not that tween that you drove here for.
Here we have what I'd say is the most depressing song in The Guy Who Didn't Like Musicals. Not Your Seed gives further weight to Ted's words before the end of the first act, and while I hate that this sleazeball is the one proven right, he does make a good point, and it gives genuine impact to that scene instead of it just being another Ted is an asshole scene. Not Your Seed both manages to be a fun, rebellious type of number while also being heartbreaking for Bill. The way we see the story between him and Alice unfold is really tragic, and you can tell that he really does care for her. Corey Doris does a fantastic job acting out this role as Bill tries to reconnect with Alice, only to come up short at this moment.
Well, Daddy wasn't here to say, not your seed.
Alice, whatever I said this morning, I'm sorry.
Perfect team.
You can break out of it, I know. I know you can.
17.
I also need to bring attention to Mariah Rose Faith Casillas' performance, and I hope I'm pronouncing her name correctly. Her voice here is absolutely amazing, especially during the bridge. It almost reminds me of the section in Let It Out, with Paul being forced to let out his emotions. Both are beautifully sad.
Why does it hurt to love you? Why am I in pain? Why does it hurt to know you? You let me down again. If I turned my insides out, would you even know that I was there? Why does it hurt to love you? Why does it hurt to love?
Not Your Seed is an amazing number in a show of amazing numbers, and really, I'd understand it landing any placement on someone's ranking. For me, it's gonna go basically smack dab in the middle. Yeah, prove it, asshole, with the army.
I bleed red, white, and
How does this song feel even more unfortunately valid 7 years after it was written? This one feels the most sinister out of every track in the show, honestly. Every other song has that layer of whimsy to it, that bit of fun. Not this one. America is Great Again feels like such a far cry from the rest of the songs for that reason, and it always manages to make me really, really tense. Even upon multiple rewatches, where I know exactly what's happening, it's sad to see General John McNamara in such an evil place, when he's usually a force for good in the later shows.
You can't run. 'Cause our borders are closed.
These militaristic, hopeless words, accompanied by the march of faceless soldiers, is just perfectly haunting. And all of this is backed by one of the most smug grins I have ever seen in my life, right on McNamara's face. Since he's played by the person who wrote the music, it makes sense that this song with such undertones of commentary outside of the show itself would be the one for that. That Jeff Blim guy's so proud, and for what? Making the music to some of my favorite media ever? Wait, shoot. Okay, you win this one, Blim, but I'll be back. Do you wanna save the planet?
Hey, did you see? Oh, you again. Look, I'm not a bad guy, okay? I've given to charity in the past.
Typical day.
Oh la dee da da day. you're just shy of my top 5, which might surprise some people. Again, I like all of the songs on this soundtrack, it's just that something needs to be here, and I overall think this song just barely doesn't make it. In the story, this song's purpose is to indicate to Paul that something's going wrong in Hatchetfield. What Do You Want, Paul kind of does this too, but Paul could explain that away by saying that Mr. Davidson finally snapped, or something, with maybe a little reworking of the scene. Having a few random co-workers exit the office singing before Paul goes in, you could work that song into the role of La Di Da Da Day. I don't think the same can be said for the top 5. They're all necessary. Anyways, the song itself slaps. It's such a fun vibe, and we all know that. The jokes land perfectly, especially with the homeless guy's entire verse.
Cause I may not have a home, but that's way okay. Cause I prefer to roam the streets all day.
What's also fun about this track is that you can easily just use it as a song to pump yourself up in the morning. Provided you don't think about the lyrics too hard. Once you start thinking about throwing your own skin away or snacking on a dead man's face though, then it gets to be a bit uncomfortable. Watching Paul desperately try to get out of this flash mob only to be forced back in repeatedly is really funny and sad at the same time. Honestly, ignoring the alien invasion aspect of it, I'd probably do the exact same thing if I was Paul. This is doing too much for me. This is humanity's 11th hour.
It's
Just as a clarification, my top 5 are so interchangeable that my opinion basically changes on a daily basis. I know that sounds like a cop-out, but I really do love this musical, and these 5 songs in particular are just amazing. That being said, I'll place Showstoppin' Number as the 5th place, and man, it's hard to not want to put this at number 1. With one of the best jokes in the musical, that being that this doomsday prepper would buy into the very thing that he theorized 30 years ago, Robert Mannion quite honestly steals the show as Professor Higgins. Then again, this twist isn't exactly the most surprising, given what he said as his very first lines.
Come on, you bastard! You don't think I'm ready for you? I've been waiting in the wings! The stage is set! It's showtime!
One of the most iconic parts of this entire musical comes from here, with the shift in tone from the song itself and Workin' Boys, the song within this song. It's no surprise that this character was given a chance to shine in his own short story, one where he actually gets to finish Workin' Boys and direct it before going insane. Seriously, check out Workin' Boys. It's on Star Kid's YouTube channel and it's phenomenal. Jeff Blim does a great job fitting into Mannion's enormous shoes in this role while giving his own spin on the character that's fun to watch. It's hard to dictate exactly what I love about Showstoppin' Number without repeating the opinions of 50 million other people, but I think I have to attribute my love for it to just how funny it is. Professor Higgins is the zestiest guy I have ever seen in a musical, and I absolutely love it. Happy Pride Month! A man so vague just can't be trusted.
What do you want, Paul?
Excuse me?
Just shy of top 3 is What Do You Want, Paul? This high placement might be surprising to some of you since I really didn't like how falsetto heavy You Tied Up My Heart could get. However, for some reason, it works here. I don't really know why, but Mr. Davidson's zany acting is just really funny, especially in contrast to Paul's incredibly uncomfortable demeanor throughout. Most musicals have this song labeled as the I Want song. This track usually is there to establish the main character's motivations, their goals, and their dreams. Jeff Blim basically says fuck you to all of that and instead gives us an I Want song for a random character that's basically screaming at Paul to get him to talk about what he wants. This subversion of the trope is so much fun, really. It fits perfectly with a team that's often very meta with their jokes. I also think this song comes with one of the funniest little jokes in the whole show, with the change from Mr. Davidson's very played up sadness at forgetting what he wanted to say to his wife directly into
Paul, now you know what
it always gets me. Watch out, Paul. He might kick your head. Bronze medal goes to the penultimate song, Let It Out. This one's notable for being the first we hear of John Madison's singing voice in all of its glory. Watching Paul basically fight his own vocals as they forcibly sing along to the tune was the tensest I'd felt throughout the entire musical. There's that constant switching back and forth that genuinely sounds torturous and brings about thoughts that Paul, being infected differently to just about everyone else in this musical, may act differently even after the fact. Maybe that's why he's missing in the opening number, since he still has that part of him fighting back like we see in this song. While this song is one of the more sinister in the soundtrack, the best part of the whole thing peels back the layers, allowing Paul to bring up his emotions in their rawest form.
I've never been happy. Wouldn't that be nice?
That line always breaks my heart. Even if it is the infection speaking for him, there must be some honesty to it, and it sucks to watch him succumb more and more. We've followed Paul throughout most of this musical. His name is in the title. Hell, he is the title. And yet, his fate is sealed by this point. Let It Out is such a great way to set up a cliffhanger that segues into the ending, with a big explosive finish to top off a phenomenal song. Here he is. His name is Paul. Enter now! The opening number for the guy who didn't like musicals is so funky and immediately gives such a great example of how this entire show feels. Everyone is giving fantastic performances here, and the jokes are on point. Despite being funny though, this song honestly gets incredibly dark when you think about the implications after watching the whole musical. For example, Professor Higgins talks about how the infected all manage to sing in time and know the melodies, implying that those not infected can't hear it. All of the music in this musical is diegetic since it's a stage production. So, does that mean that we're infected as the audience too? Because we can hear it. It also explains why we don't help Emma at the end. We just clap as she's inducted into the alien hive mind. Another aspect of this song that's quite morbid is considering that this opener might not be just an out-of-character introduction to the whole show.
So tonight we're gonna chronicle a story so astronomical, the last remaining story to tell.
These lines break the fourth wall, tying the audience into the production. This kind of fourth wall breaking has been done by Star Kid before, yeah, but it feels much more sinister when you add that last part. This is the final story for the aliens to tell. You can interpret this musical as the infected poking fun at humanity's last fight against them before effectively taking over the world.
Okay, now, are you frightened?
Well, I sure am. That's such a great way to tie this exposition dump of a song into the rest of the story. It makes so much sense. That being said, why it isn't the #1 spot is exactly that. This song dumps exposition on the audience at an almost egregious level, especially since we're soon acquainted with Paul anyways, and pick up on these aspects of his character. Still, I wouldn't have it any other way. It's beautiful in its hilarious over-the-topness.
Oh my god! Paul! You made it!
Emma, I'm sorry you lost. Emma, I'm sorry you lost your way.
What a fucking rug pull, man. StarKid has an amazing ability to reel you in with making you think that everything's okay and then absolutely gutting you. And they do a damn good job of still making you think there's a silver lining somewhere while dismissing it at the exact same time. There's a theory tied to this line, wherein Paul is actually still uninfected and merely trying to play along with the infected in order to save him and Emma. This is then shut down later on in the song. Since Inevitable ends the show, they reutilize certain melodies and motifs from throughout. This is commonly done in most musicals, but it has a certain implication to it here that's really sad. That's the melody from You Tied Up My Heart. Paul wasn't there for that song. And that's from Showstoppin' Number, which he also wasn't there for. He wouldn't know this. So they got him. He's dead. Paul failed to destroy the meteor, and there's nothing standing in the way of the aliens anymore. Every song in this soundtrack stands out for one reason or another. Inevitable, in both its own music and its style, manages to mash up everything that I love about this musical into one big stew of nasty blue shit. It's hilarious. It's horrifying. It's catchy. It's disgusting. It's everything. This has been my first really big video. Thank you for sticking around to the end if you did, and if you didn't,
I hope you don't get a wiggly. I hope you fucking die.
okay, maybe not that extreme. But seriously, this took a lot of effort compared to my normal content, so I hope it was worth it and made for a fun watch for all of you. I'm not sure what my next video will be or when it will drop, but if the reception for this one's great enough, maybe I'll make videos covering Black Friday and Nerdy Prudes Must Die in this format. Maybe I'll get around to watching Nightmare Time too? Well, whatever happens, have a great one. Hope to see you again.